Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Formula Racing League TV. Welcome back to the Super Sprint Saturday action, round 2 of the Season 22 Championship. And we're back at Red Bull Ring Spielberg for the second round of the championship revolving Tier 2. I am drivers. I'm Andrea Mattavelli, and I'll be commenting for you today's action, this evening's action from Styrian Mountains. Of course, Super Sprint Sunday. We're back here, season 22 of this fantastic Sunday series, and we're here on the track that is most synonymous and equivalent of action, battles, and heartbreaking moments and breaking points. Of course, the Red Bull Ring, the Austrian track located at Spielberg, born on the soil of the legendary Österreich Ring, once known as A1 Ring, A1 Ring. I don't know how they spell it here in Austria, because it was named after the mobile company, and now it is known as Red Bull Ring after it returned on the scene of international motorsport, first with Formula 1 in 2014, then in MotoGP 2016, and then all the other competition involving also the European Le Mans Series or the GT World Challenge Europe, the GT2 and GT4 series. And today we're back here for what promises to be an evening of exciting racing here after what has been an incredible first round here at COTA Austin 1 week ago, with victories for Owen Harris and Matthew Dunn. Of course, if you've seen this live streaming 1 week ago, you should ask why. Dazza Townsend won race 2, but it is not because he went down to second place after a post-race time penalty for a racing incident. And so the victory went to Matthew Dunn in the BMW, who for now leads the championship with 81 points, 75 for Townsend, 73 for Owen Harris. Chris Gedman is fourth in the Porsche with 62 points. Then Nuke Waste 61 points. The Belgian B5S is sixth with 58 points. The same amount for Sam Greaves. Then 57 for Darren Davis. 56 for Naked Warrior. 55 for Jordan Marshall, who runs up the top 10 after the first two races. Of course, it's only been one round on one track, and in the Red Bull Ring we can see everything change, because it's another type of track, one with a nature very stop-and-go track, where you have to be very, very efficient on the brakes if you want to get the most of the lap time. And as you can see already, we have some new names at the top of the standings, even if it's only free practice. We have Fuchs in the Lamborghini number 18, leading the free practice. We have 1 minute 28.7. Van der Waal second, 1.5 tenths of a second. Naked Warrior in third place. Steve in fourth for the two Aston Martin Vantage, looking very dangerous up front. Then we have Greaves fifth in the Mercedes. Sixth is the Portuguese wonder boy of Miguel Silva, that did not have luck at all, with some problem to his peripheric that led him to collect only a 29th place in race 1 and to retire in race 2. Let's hope for him that he gets better and that he gets to finish the race and have some good results in the process. Meanwhile, the hopes of drivers like Owen Harris and Matthew Dunn is to repeat the victories they achieved in Texas, and to try to get as near as possible at the podium, if not on top. For now, Owen Harris is 10th, and Matthew Dunn is P12. So we'll see if something happens, as tonight in Tier 2 we have for now only 26 drivers. still a good number, even if lower compared to the one we got in America. But nonetheless, the action and the quality of the racing here should remain top-notch, as always here at Formula Racing League. As the checker flag is falling down for the end of the free practice session, I want to just take a moment for thanking all of you that follow us on YouTube, that recovered those live stream, and thank you for those who gave us good feedback for our commentary, for our job behind the scenes. Thank you to all the FRL Patreon supporters, of course, especially to Desert Townsend and Harvey, who will be naming the two races that we'll be seeing here at Red Bull Ring. The first one will be the 25 minutes Townsend Tango. Very creative names, I really like it. Desert Townsend, if you hear this, hope you can have good fun in this race, as now we're back in the pit lane, and it's green light for the one-shot qualifying. Remember, guys, one-shot qualifying means that every single driver will only have one lap during the 10-minute session, and so it is up to them to try to figure out when going out, when getting exit for the pit lane, when going out to do the lap, when is the moment to do the lap. As we see, some drivers now going already out, others will play the waiting game. The first one is Johnson in the Porsche, then is Miguel Silva Ferrari, and then we see Matthew Dan in the BMW. As you can see, not very much activity for now, but we have to wait in the middle part of the qualifying session, when all the drivers will begin to run out of time to do the lap, so they will get it out. Of course, now the pit lane now is getting more numerous as the cars ignite the engines and decide that it's the moment to exit the pit lane. I want to do the lap now, as Johnson looking for extreme ways to get his tires warmed up. Not sure that going off of the gravel at turn 6 is one of them. As Johnson now begins the flying lap, his only attempt to do the qualifying lap. Matthew Johnson, and he starts now at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, a reminder, this is one of the shortest track in the GT series. 4.3 kilometers and only 10 corners. So it is not really that long. It's not really even that hard. But in the simplicity of the layout, there's always a challenge, and that challenge is the braking points. Just to try to be the latest to brake, to try to get overtake, to try to defend without overdoing it, or you risk going wide, going long, and into the gravel, or even taking some penalties on the track limits side, especially the last two corners that are the Red and the Red Bull Mobile, turn 9 and 10. So we'll see what will happen first in this qualified session, and then in the two races that will await us tonight. By the way, already seeing that you are watching us. Betto say good evening to you too. Thank you for joining us. Now Matthew Johnson will be the first to cut the finish line. 1 minute 30.4. So here's the lap that everyone will achieve to beat. Miguel Silva already does better. 1 minute 29.5. That's good to know. Now behind them we see in a few moments Naked Warrior take a look at the Aston Martin advantage. In free practice, it looked quite as competitive. Oh, but he went wide, turn 9, and so lap time invalidated as Matthew Dunn crosses the line and takes the second place for now in the middle of Silva and Johnson. Of course, it's not what everyone was looking for, not especially what the Naked Warrior was looking for. Giving his Aston Martin advantage was looking really on good form here at Spielberg. Let's see now Adam Fuchs in the Lamborghini number 18. Let's see now from Fuchs. Crosses the checker flag and goes top. 29.4 by the Lamborghini driver who goes top. And that's really good to know. That's really good to hear. Now we are waiting for all the others. As Kruger sets slots only P7, they last of the cars that already made the lap time. Of course, the top reference, Alexander Fuchs. So correction on the name, Alexander Fuchs with 1 minute 29.4. There we'll see all of the others. Of course, Van der Waal has come back to the pit, so he was not ready. Not his best effort. Let's see now Chris Gedman, my fellow admin, our fellow admin Chris Gedman of FRL, trying his best now after a promising first round. Reminder that they finished P13 and P7 for 62 points, so it's a good amount of points after the first round. We're hoping for more here at Red Bull Ring. As Gunning has slotted himself into third place behind Fuchs and Silva, ahead of Dunn and Davis, who puts his Ford Mustang into provisional top 5. Of course, with only in the first only 3 minutes 40 seconds left to qualify action. Hunt goes fifth, overcomes Hunt. Let's see now from Sturrock and the Mercedes where he will end. As Sturrock crosses the line now, and it goes P11 while Chris Gedman is finishing now his flying lap in the Porsche 911 Carrera, or Porsche 992. For me, will always be the Porsche 911 in any generation and forms. Chris Gedman only 14 fastest, is the last now, so he will have a lot of work to do. And of course, he decided to slam it into the barriers of turn 1. Of course, it's a hot scene, too much crude, too much raw, so we're gonna censor that. Sorry, Chris. Then we see Kulmelakis in the BMW, putting himself in 4th place. Good lap by him. Let's see now Faes, the Belgian driver, in the McLaren. As he's crossing the finish line, behind it will be Battistone. And so here we have Faes P5, Battistone P10 in the Lexus. Now we have Van der Waal, the Dutch driver who, like Max Verstappen, might be at his home race, considering he's racing in an orange Ferrari, and considering also that before the return of the Dutch Grand Prix of Formula 1 at Zandvoort, the Red Bull Ring and the Belgian Grand Prix, both Spielberg and Spa, were considered home race for the Dutch world champion. And of course, you can see on the crowd the orange marea with smokes, flares, and all the Verstappen supporters and And of course, we saw like Max, Super Max, and all of the others. Of course, but the one we want to put inside of his Ferrari his inner Verstappen spirit and try to put it as top as possible. Of course, the reference remains the same. Alexander Fuchs in the Lamborghini, 1 minute 29.4. Let's see if Van der Waal can manage to squeeze his Ferrari into the top 10, maybe even below the 1 minute and 30 point mark. Oh, but almost risked losing it outside turn 8. So, not looking good now for Van der Waal. Let's see if he has done enough to make a good lap. Let's see where he will start. Van der Waal on the final straight, crosses the line. And it's a third fastest. Great lap by the Dutch driver. He put himself into second row, only behind Fuchs and Silva, who for now remain untouched. And let's see Steve. Steve is at the top. He puts his black Aston Martin Vantage on the top with 1 minute 29.2. Great stuff by Steve. And so all of the other cars have completed the lap time, so it's a qualifying over here at the Red Bull Ring. And it's a brilliant pole position by, we can say, the driver of the devil, or the car of the devil, giving his race number. Jokes apart, but Dreadlock Steve with the pole position, 1 minute 29.2 by the British driver, and that makes him a very strong contender for race 1, the 25-minute Townsend Tango. He will try his best to take every possible opportunity in today's 2 races that will follow very shortly. So Dreadlock Steve up front. Then we have Adam Fuchs in second place, Silva in third, Van der Waal in fourth, Ashley Garing in fifth, Jordan Vereth in sixth. Then it is Cole Kumelakis, Antonis Kumelakis in seventh, Owen Harris in ninth, Dave Fies in ninth, and Matthew Dunn in 10th. Of course, we have this. It's promising to be an important race. Some mistakes from my point of view, but no worry. We'll be back into the pit lane to see the results of qualifying. And again, Dreadlock Steve on pole position, and it will be very packed with 40 drivers, all within a second. So it will be exciting. It will be very tough. It will be really unpredictable to see how these 2 sprint races will eventually go. So a little break from ourselves, and we'll be back here in action for the formation lap to precede the start of the first sprint race of today's action.
We have some wind conditions. Watch out for curves and exit, and remember to brake early.
Welcome back here at the starting grid for race one of round two of the Super Sprint Sunday, the 25 minutes 1000 tango. It will be a tango indeed because, as you can see, it's raining down at Spielberg. Not when it rains, it pours already dog and cats, but of course it is a light rain that will surely wet all the track and force all the drivers to use the wet tires for this race. Of course, it was not predicted very much rain. It was like 30% possibility, but here it is, and it's raining constantly, falling down to the track and to the cars, as you can see already from yourself. And of course, it will be hard for them to adapt to a new racing condition and to a car and to a track that, of course, as I said, is a stop and go. So you have to be confident at all times in the braking zones. And with rain falling down, it will be a problem not only of visibility, but almost of course, of
30 seconds.
finding the confidence and trying to finding the good gap for the braking zones. So watch out for some crashes. Turn
seconds.
1 and turn 3, of course. Turn 1 named after Niki Lauda. So it will be very tension in the first lap, as you see the cars now ready up, all initiating as they also begin to use the windshields, of course, for the condition. And we'll see which one will be more fastest and bravest in this wet condition. Dreadlock Steve on pole position, Alexander Fuchs alongside him on the front row. Steve will start up front, but watch out for Fuchs because he will be having the inside line for turn 1, so he might have an advantage, as well as Van der Waal on Miguel Silva in second row, then Gunning, Verev, Kokomelakis, Harris, Faes, Dana, and all the others will be ready for the trial of the Spielberg, the first 20 tango, the 25 minutes 1000 tango, race 1 here at the Red Bull Ring of Spielberg that begins
Green light. Go, go, go.
now, and we're underway with a good start, simply by Alexander Fuchs, who takes already the lead of the race. Great start by the German driver. Steve tries his best to fight back, but it's not going enough. Then Van der Waal taking first place, and someone from the back has crashed. I think maybe a McLaren. It's car number 777, so it's Owen Harris. One of the race winners in round 1 at Kota has already crashed out. That's just so unfortunate for him. But besides from him, every other car is going into turn 3, all clean, no contacts, no incidents whatsoever. So it's going all to plan for now. As Luke Verf trying again to inside Van der Waal, but no space whatsoever. Oh, someone might have got into the grass, and it's Matthew Dan who lost a couple of places. Of course, the BMW is the worst car to have understeer in rain conditions because you don't know it. Of course, also Voltmeister does not joke. And one of the BMWs lost it. And Santos. And there's some big contest, some big accident. Chris Gedman also involved. A disaster. Like 10 cars. All coming down together at turn number 6. And that is why you need to be confident at all in rain condition, because otherwise you just throw your qualifying or your race away as the first lap has been completed. Alexander Fuchs leading from Dreadlock Steve, Michael Van der Waal in third place, Jaref Veref in fourth place, Ashley Gunning in fifth place. So, apart from those that were behind, everything is looking quite good for now. as Fuchs leads, but Steve is not very far behind. Maybe he wants to take the opportunity to retake what it was his position. He conquered the qualifying. And of course, as you can see, Van der Waal also tried to get closer to the top two, while look at Ashley Gunning. As he wants to get closer to Zverev, and some action in the midfield. Koppes goes wide, Hunter goes past, Felix goes past, Haggerty goes past as well, so he lost 4 places, the Ferrari driver. And look at this, we can see now another real good fight between Ashley Gunning and Zverev. Again, Gunning trying to the outside in turn 9, but of course there's no space. He tries to switch a room, but Zverev, the budget driver, good to closing the door. Meanwhile, behind them, one car has got the drive-through pad. He needs to make the warrior. So his race goes from bad to worse, as Gunning again on the outside of Zverev for 4th place, but there's no space there. Of course, bad day, really going strong on the speed line straight, but then on the braking zones, it is Ferrari's advantage, so it will not be easy, as Silva and Kokomelakis, sorry for the pronunciation, goes wheel to wheel at turn 3, and the Greek driver manages to get past from the outside, the Portuguese, to take up 6th place. Great stuff, absolute great stuff by Kokomelakis. So now we see Faes and Felix just trying to take each other feints. Of course, maneuvers to try to take a position, to try to force another into the mistake. Look at this. These are what I like about motorsport. Racing in the rain, all trying to follow the line, trying to get the best line possible. And we have all different races, all different racing style, all different kind of drivers. Look at Hart, for example, who's really closing on Felix for 9th place. And of course, it's Mercedes, might be one of the most suited track for wet racing, considering it's balanced. He has the engine front place. So even if he has to understeer, it is good, especially on the exit corner, as you can see. And look at Faes and Felix, who went a bit wide. And Faes goes into the barriers. I think it is, I don't know, it was one that lost it. White manages to get past 2 places, and it was indeed Felix who went up and smashed himself into the barriers. He rejoins just ahead of them on P20. So not looking good for him. While Matthew Danes or another BMW, don't know who it is having so much trouble. And Silva goes wide again. And it is wide at turn number 4. Lots of problems, lots of understeer moments for the cars. One of them goes almost, he goes with 2 wheels onto the gravel. It is Faes McLaren that falls down the order. As you can see, it's down behind. And we see another one with a McLaren there. This race changes face every time. You cannot have a moment to breathe in this condition with this car. And look at the paradox. It is raining, but the track is not wet anymore. If not, it's a little bit dry, because from wet it's become humid. So that means that the car are going really fast, and the Pirelli tires are taking so much water that they must starting to make a line on at the Red Bull Ring. Right back at the midfield with Dan Fies scrapping it up for P13. Behind them, Sturrock getting past Davis for P15. Of course, Davis seemingly struggling in the Mustang. Look at this. Sturrock trying to find a way past Fies, but of course, nothing to do there, no space whatsoever. And now Johnson on Davis' tail. Oh, and there's a McLaren and lost it and his Fies. Don't know what happened, but it's really, really strange. Johnson and the other manages to restart, but Fies has fallen down the order. Is now even P22, P20. Oh my. That is really, really, really hard to control your car in conditions like that. Why ahead at the top of the standings, Fuchs and Steve are fighting for first place. Alexander Fuchs defending really, really good from the British driver, but Dreadlock Steve has an Aston Martin advantage, who might be suitable enough for wet conditions. So let's see how he holds, and also how Ashley Gunning will do, considering he gone past Vega for third place, and now he's getting closer to the top two. So watch out for the Bentley boy of the Australian, as he might have one ace under his sleeve. And look at this, John Barnett, fastest lap time so far. And for now, the Ford driver is in 8th place, 1 second behind Miguel Silva. While Madison made a mistake, don't know where, but he lost like 5, 6, 7, 8. He lost over 10 places and it's still falling down. That's what happens in this condition. One mistake and you throw everything away. And look at Ashley Gunning, fastest lap for the Bentley driver, who's only 7 taps away from the top 2 in this 25-minute 1,000 tango. That's really incredible, as we might see a threesome battle for the race victory, as Steve now begins to make himself very, very visible in Fuchs's mirrors. Oh, and Fuchs also going a little bit wide on the exit, going on the curbs. Let's see, this will get so much better, Steve, for the braking spot of turn 4. Here it is, but no move whatsoever. You have to watch also Vegev, hoping for them that he does not catch up as well. It's really remarkable what these are doing. And look at Steve almost trying to force his way past Alexander Fuchs, but he's not enough. It's not enough. Alexander Fuchs closing all the doors, staying on the racing line. What a legendary defense by the Lamborghini. And Steve almost losing his patience with Ashley Gunning licking his tongue like come on, go Bazik, the guy will take every opportunity that comes with it. As Fuchs now begins to rebuild a gap, 7 taps between him and Steve. Look, it goes wide, a little wide. Steve is not going well for now. Gunning is getting closer and closer to second place. This might be the chance that the Australian was waiting for. Into the braking spot on the inside, Ashley Gunning. And Steve cannot counter-attack, so Ashley Gunning moves up into second place. Great job of the Australian, who will now have his eyesight into Fuchs for fighting for first place, as we have a yellow flag in... it might be Greaves. Yeah, it is Greaves. Who lost it in turn 1. But we have to look out now for Gunning because it's really going fast now. Let's see if he has what it takes to recover on Alexander Fuchs, or if Steve will manage to hold this pressure and try to take an attack back on the Australian soil, while we're past the midway point of the first sprint race of the evening. So while the chase is on, let's go back to some classic midfield action. Let's see Matthew Hunt on board in the Mercedes. He is now trying to defend from Stark 9 tenths away. Let's go on board with him. We're back at the front with Ashley Gunning now 6 steps away, but on what I see, it might be even closer to Ashley Gunning, really pushing to also give Fuchs a mistake, turn 3. And look at this Betty looks like it's driving on the rails on the wet, and so Fuchs is forced to the extraordinary to try to keep first place on the outside, turn 4-5. As again he trying for the switcheroo. Fuchs try his best with his Lamborghini to hold the position, but Gunning manages to stay ahead, to keep the place, and so he's in the lead of the race. Great move, great stuff by Ashley Gunning, who now leads the 25 minutes 1000 tango here on Red Bull Ring. Great stuff, really great stuff by Ashley Gunning. As reminder, he's made some mixed performances in the first round, 14th, 12th, and 18th place in the 2 races at Kota. But here, with wet condition, his battery seems like has come to life. And so now Ashley Gunning leading the race in the Bentley. We are excited for Fuchs still following in his tail. Let's see if something happens up front, but oh look, Fuchs going really wide. He's struggling now, Alexander Fuchs. He might be present for the chance for Dreadlock Steve to try to take back the challenge. Trying to fight for second place. Big high wide, we see now Matthew Hunt again on this quest to try to recover, but he's made a mistake. So Sturrock saying thank you very much and moves up into 10th place, while Siva and Compass are fighting for P9. And I'm eager to see what will happen between the Portuguese and the Belgian, the Dutch driver, sorry, Michael Coppens. With Miguel Silva for now holding very well, but the wall a little bit far ahead, safe distance from the Dutch driver. Miguel Silva cannot make any faults, cannot think of relaxing even a little bit because he has Coppens and all of the others right behind him, fighting to enter the top 10 to take his 8th place. Let's see now a train of 5 cars behind Miguel Silva. And these are all points that matters in the championship. So you do want to try to take as many points as you can without risking to throw it all away, of course. Achieve with a mistake at the exit turn 3. Let's see if Coppens can make it. Let's see if he can make it, this opportunity come and take it. But not for now. Silva now really in a hard spot now because the Coppens are seemingly having a better face for now. Silva still ahead. But the Dutch driver is really, really close to him. A great battle for 8 plays. Silva again wide, and Sturrock lost it. Hunter Johnson manages to avoid him, but look at Coppens from the outside of turn 9. Let's see if he can make the move happen. Me almost can, but goes a little bit wide, so it's Silva chance again to take the place back, but it goes on the curb, and so it collide. A big crash for Silva and Coppens. That is absolutely unfortunate from both parties. Coppens manages to get back into P11 while Silva has given the short stick on the Barenzo and is falling there really down the order. That's really unfortunate. That takes advantage for Matthew Johnson, who moves up into 8th place, and Matthew Hunt, P9 for him. Look at Davis with a Ford Mustang, P10. While Coppens will see back here trying to put the pressure back on Felix and Davis, while Dreadlock Steve is back again for Alexander Fuchs' tail. So that's your possible fight for P2 reunited. Because we have to monitor back Kukumelakis pressing or Jordan Verev for 4th. This is what happens at Red Bull Ring. You get all these battles, all these overtakes, all these mistakes and incidents, and then they make you on the top of the verge of your seat, standing up, trying to watch closely the action to see what is happening. And it's really, really, really excellent racing so far in the 25 minutes down the tango, round 2 of the Super Sprint Saturday Tier 2. Remember, our Red Bull Ring. Look again, Fuchs and Steve, 2nd and 3rd place, fighting up for the podium places. While behind them, Verev really struggling to hold Kukumelakis, and also Barnett, who manages to join the party in his Ford Mustang. Look at this, Barnett trying to move on the side, of course. Kukumelakis into a mistake, but the Greek driver having none of it and holding the Ford Mustang behind him. And of course, Barnett to say, I'm not having any of it. Hello, Kukumelakis closing the door. That's real great racing we're seeing here now, as we have only 3 minutes left of this first race of the evening. And look at Barnett trying now to find any spot to attack Zverev. First of all, Kukuminakis at the contact from Fuchs Steve. Fuchs set spinning wide. No, it's not extended Fuchs. And all you have to do 180 maneuver, and he starts, but he has to concede also to Van der Waal, I think. So it's down to P7. And I think we might see now Steve risking a penalty for the contact. And now Zverev is really closer on him. It's incredible, right? Well, let's see now. Oh, and what happened here? I don't know if it's John Barnett ahead of Davis. I don't know what happened, but Davis moved up into 8 spots. Kopets back into top 10. Kukuminakis and Barnett went down the order as well. That's bonkers. That's bonkers of a race. Meanwhile, up front, we'll be back with Ashley Gunning because he now starts the final lap of the first race. So, final lap after 15 here at Red Bull Ring. Ashley Gunning getting close to the first victory of the season, while Dracula Stig and Zverev fighting up for second place. Zverev has been reignited by the chance of taking the second spot. But of course, Steve has the most. That's a big lap. If I ever see one from Jordan Zverev, who almost took Steve as he misjudged the braking zone. Luckily, Zverev managed to avoid him, but that's certainly his second place run done and dusted. He will take a P3 if he does not make any mistake. While Kopets has lost against a couple of places, Kukuminakis and Barnett had overtaken him. I cannot. I really struggling to get and got caught. But the Waal Fuchs was trying as Switcheroo on the Ferrari driver, but it was to no avail. But the Waal is keeping 4th place, while Ashley Gunning at the clock reaches 0 has exited the final corner. Red Bull Mobile and the Australia flag will rise here. Red Bull Ring. Ashley Gunning takes the checker flag and wins race 1. Unbelievable drive by the Bentley here for Ashley Gunning. Great stuff. Dreadlock Steve holds on Jordan Zverev for second place. The Belgian driver will take a first spot, while Michael van der Waal, 4th place for him, ahead of Alexander Fuchs. Big remorse for him after the contact with Steve. We have to see if there will be some tickets, if Steve will eventually get penalized from the accident. Johnson is 6th, Huntis is 7th, Davis, Kukuminakis and Barnett takes the remaining top 10 spots ahead of Kopets. Then Kelleher, Lemon, Felix, Betis, Osturk, Don in 17th place. Disappointing after victory at Kota. The Greens, Silva, Kruger, Gedman in P21, Els P22, Haggerty, Pfizer, Warrior and Santos, the last who will cross the checker flag and will be getting the reverse pole position for race 2, which will be the 45 minutes Harvey reverse grid. But for now, all the honors go to Ashley Gunning, who managed to win race 1 here at Spielberg. An excellent drive by the Australian to take advantage of the wet condition and take his Bentley on the top spot of the podium here at Spielberg. And we see now Rob G182. Yes, FRL boss. Man, I miss doing cops for you guys. We miss you as well, also because I could need a second voice to try have some breaks during the action, because otherwise I will be forced to drink water, and that's why I do some breaks. And I know after I made my commentary Taco Tuesday of the joke of the Piadina Tuesday after the many Italian companies, some saying already we want the what it is, the spaghetti Sunday, but the problem is there are no Italian real fast here in Tier 2. There was only Marco Didi, but he's not present here at the paddock, so it will be fake spaghetti, like the noodle, which serves for the joke of the impasta. You've laughed at it good. If you didn't, that sucks, but what can I do? Nothing. So now we're waiting for the official confirmation of the result by the server. Because it takes some sweet time. And it is a session over, so confirmation of the result. Ashley Gunning wins race 1 in Red Bull Ring. Dreadlock Steve is second place, but with the maneuver, with the racing accident of Alexander Fuchs, he can risk eventually a penalty. Eventually, if Fuchs takes the ticket. The German driver of the Lamborghini finishes fifth behind Jordan Veref and Michael van der Waal. Anthony Johnson in the Porsche. Oh, Michael Johnson, sorry. He's sixth. Matthew Hunt, 7. Davis in 8. Then it's Antonis Kokomelakis in 9th. John Barnett. Hope I say that right. It's John Barnett must be, yes, in P8. Jack Barnett, sorry. Jack Barnett, Darren Davis, the 2 Ford drivers. The Michael Koppes in 11. Callahan in 12. P13 for Lemon. Felix in 14. Berison 15. Sturrock in 16. Dunn in 17. Grievous in 18. Silva in 19. Kruger top 20. And of course, we see here the confirmation of the result alongside the BOP, which we use, which is started now in GT3 and sports car racing. And I must say, the beauty of the Super Sprint Sunday is that you will never know what happened, and whereas you might win, and the other, it may all go wrong. Look at Matthew Dunn, it's P17, and even worse for Owen Harris, only P27 for him. Who, reminder, won the first race, the first sprint race, and now it's only P27, and only did 1 lap, so will start from the back, even in race 2. While drivers that did do really good, like Dreadlock Steve, only 27, top 10. Now, as taking second place, Gunning from Australia, even did some slight better result. Now, has taken the race victory. We have already 3 different winners. The hope is that in 4th place we'll have, either for race 4, we'll be having another different winner at the Red Bull Ring. As you can see, now the server is being restarted. Our admins are full in work to set the starting grid for race 2. So we'll be taking a short break again, and we'll be back for when the server restarts, for when we'll be back on track to prepare ourselves for the 45-minute Harvey reverse grid here at the Red Bull Ring. Stay tuned. Sorry, just waiting for the confirmation that the server is restarted with the grid. Of course, a lot of work doing in the meantime by our admins. We might have yeah, fake it is. Let me see. It says we might have the receiver restarted. Just confirmation. We're joining now.
Green light, go, go, go.
Yeah, confirmation. Servers are go, as say by Richix. Thank you, Rich. And so we're back at the track of Red Bull Ring. We're now here in the pre-race of the 45-minute Harvey reverse grade race. Race 2 of tonight's event at Red Bull Ring for the Super Sprint Sunday Season 22. Of course, we are commentated the Tier 2 AM drivers only. Some drivers enter the track to regain confidence on the dry, hoping that it stays as dry as possible in race 2. So Silva, Dan, and Chris Gemman. Some cars. No. So we might be good to go. And so we'll be waiting for the start of race 2 that will come after the end of this free practice that feels like a warm-up at this point. Of course, let's just remind yourself of the results from race 1 with Ashley Gunning winning race 1 ahead of Dreadlock Steve and Jordan Veref. Then Michael van der Wall in 4th, Fuchs in 5th, Johnson in 6th, Hunt in 7th, P8 for Davis, P9 for Kuku Medakis, and P10 for Jack Barnett. So these are the top 10 from race 1. For some of these drivers, the reverse grid will be an occasion for trying to make up the ground lost on race 1, the points lost. And for Matthew Dunn, won race 2, and will start in the front half of the grid. So it will be a great chance for him. Of course, Santos here should be on reverse pole. Ahead of Greaves, Hunt, and Hunt. As you can see now, Matthew Dunn set a lap time 1 minute 31.0. But at this point the time count relatively because he's now just trying to get back into the groove, trying to get back into the feeling with the car. Prepare yourself for race 2. There will be following very, very, very shortly. And now the free practice ended. Few cars on track. But then we're back here and...
Remember that curbs are slippery.
oh
Watch your
my!
reinforcements.
We're back with a wet track for the first 5 minutes. Then it dries up. And then it will rain even harder. That's the dilemma of the dilemmas for all the drivers out there, because what should they do? Should they stay on track and see their wet tires destroy themselves? They should come up and into the pits and change into wet and slick tires, or maybe even set of wet tires? Or should they stay to slicks as they hold on for the first minutes until it rains again? Oh, and now it stopped raining. The track is still wet, but it stopped raining, so it will be even harder of a dilemma now. Because for these drivers, they are met with a choice to make: to start with wet tires or to start with slick and suffer and resist the first few laps when the track is absolutely no way near the slick condition we need. This might be a really tough call, and this promises us an exciting, chaotic start. Of course, Daniel Kennedy from the Disco said, it's Formula Racing League. It sure is, Dale. It sure is. And so, we'll see what happened now. Of course, Formula Racing League TV is also bringing you the live of the Tier 1 Super Sprint Sunday Season 22. And as I can see, there we have dry conditions. So the Tier 2 drivers are just real unlucky. They're just real unlucky. But it's the 30-second spot. So we're
20 seconds.
real close to be back in action for the Formula Racing League with Super Sprint Sunday Tier 2, Round 2 at Red Bull Ring.
10 seconds.
Again, one race heavily influenced by the weather. Now it does not rain, but the track is really wet. So it's their choice now to make which one. What will they start? From the slick or with the wet tires? Ashley Ganning Stark starting from the pit lane. Maybe it's their best choices at and one BMW Santos did not start at all. He has some problems. Don't know what happened there, but he leaves Naked Warrior on front row, totally alone. Santos does not move an inch. If he does not move, he risks of bringing a hazard to all those who now are currently hoping to have a clean race. So it's race due. The halving reverse grid with Santos on pole, Naked Warrior on pole, finds a Haggerty behind him,
Go.
and we're green light and we're underway. With Naked Warrior doing a not really good start, so it's really now surrounded by the two McLarens, but he holds up to the top spot after turn one. And let's hope there's not many crashes from behind. It seems all good. As Santos has started, but he's really going behind. Don't know, maybe he was meant to start on the pit lane or what, but nevertheless, Naked Warrior leads ahead of Fies, Haggerty, Gedman in fourth, Elsa in fifth. So Elsa is overtaking Gedman. Dan, Silva, Bettis on them on the Kruger and all the others. We have to wait for a few moments until the until the race order makes some clearness. See which one is ahead and which one is behind. Of course, you can see some of the water being sprayed out from the rear tires. It's not really wet, but there's still some trickery conditions. As you can see now, Matthew Dan behind Els again, and Els moved up into 4th place. While now again, man, as we try to hold, oh, and that's with a mistake and lost 2 places. To Els and to Geman, to Dan. That's not what the Ferrari driver wanted to do. While Naked Warrior leads comfortably for now ahead of Fires of Hegarty. We're cutting on the podium spots. Meanwhile, here is the midfield where all the action is now. And let's see what will happen with Fuchs and Kruger as Fuchs try to outbreak the Aston Martin, moves up place. P11 it is almost P10 as he tries to get past Kelleher. Kelleher lost it, Kelleher. Maybe, oh my, he surely put the slick tires and he just exaggerated with the acceleration, so that's a gamble that he totally did not pay in this occasion. Meanwhile, Jack Barnett using all this power and the stability of the Ford Mustang to move up places. Now he's moving up ahead of Van der Waal. Is now trying to get past Greaves and Felix. That maybe means that Barnett has decided to use wet tires, or supposed to want to decide to do some slick tires. Look at the difference in braking, in the performance, and some, oh my, and it's total chaos. It's total chaos. We see some other cars lost it. One of which is Coco Melakis, who totally lost it, as well as Kruger. And then goes over the curb. Johnson goes into the pits already. 5 minutes and he will rain again. So to everyone who chose the slick tires, if there is someone who chose the slick tires, will not pay whatsoever. Fuchs on Bettison moves up into 6th place. Of course, Fuchs eyeing up a revenge after the contact ended his chance of podium, so in race 1. Meanwhile, look at Barnett going almost the double speed of Els. Also the exit code, so he moves into the top 10. Great start by Jack Barnett. He's 10th. Right behind him, we see Greaves, Coppens, Silva, Van der Waal. 3 Ferraris behind the Ford and the Mercedes. And they're all following each other now, while Bettison and Lemon are fighting. Maybe Bettison, they come to close cover, but Bettison decided that it's time for the pit stop. So I think it has been a contact. It's Greaves and I think Els. Yes, it is. Els decides to take to the pit lane. Greaves continues. I will please forgive me if I do not give any update on what the tires are for what tires they are choosing or whatever. But the one that they are returning to the pit stop, I hope they chose the slick tires and are going back to the wet, because in a few minutes it will rain again. Meanwhile, Dan on Gemma tries to make a move, but there's no such a room. Well, Jack Barnett has gone past also Lemon. I think it is Aston Martin's Lemon. Yes, it is. So it's a P8 for the Ford Mustang driver. And he's now eyeing Felix for P7. That's awesome for Jack Barnett. He's now using all the photo advantage, with advantage, but he goes into the. For once, I thought. For once, we can all think of Barnett coming into the pits, but I think it's only trying. As you can see, the one that are coming outside the racing are the one with wet tires surely, and they are moving on the other side to try to not overheat those tires so that they won't be destroying them. So that's one of the most realistic thing we see from Assetto Corsa Competizione. And once I used myself during an event at Spa-Francorchamps, he's winning again. He's winning again. If someone has been using a dancing technique, dancing rituals, it surely yes work. And in 15 minutes, I think we stop the rain again. What clouds we are having here in Austria! It's like British weather, but we're in Austria. We've seen everything, boys. We've seen everything. Meanwhile, let's see the Geldman and Dan still fighting for 4th place. Geldman is up at the 4th. And Dan is really close on the race. And ahead of there's Ferrari, a lapped Ferrari, which might be of else. Chris Geldman laps in, but it goes wide. That's the chance that Dan was waiting for. And of course, with edges, BMW takes the advantage of the Porsche. So Matthew Dan overtakes Chris for P4. That's a simple you would have put. But I have to watch Jack Barnett. We close it up on Felix, while by Matthew Damon and Michael Coppens are fighting for P10, for P9, sorry. And the 4th is really on a hot streak on the wet weather condition. Look at Jack Barnett, look at the exit of the corners. And the top speed, and now look inside turn 6 and moves into 8th place. Clean overtake by Jack. It's P7. Also stuck for now. While Michael Coppens also now he's trying to make some moves as well on Lemon for a P9, but the Aston Martin does not want to concede for now. A lot while Felix says, I had enough, let's bring the car back to the pits. Let's go now to the on-board with Coppens, who's now pressuring Lemon for 8th place. And as you can see, Copes managed to get past Lemon for P8 after a brilliant battle between the two, with Copes using the maneuverability, the agility, and the most balanced package of the Ferrari disadvantage, while we see Chris Gaiman losing control and doing a Daniel Kvyat, slamming himself into the barrier, delimiting the pit lane entry. And so it is a heavy crash for Chris Gaiman, who's now fallen down to P11. I think Miguel Silva might be involved because he's fallen into P15. Tough luck really for Chris Gaiman. While ahead of him we see fan favorite Van der Waal trying to close the gap on Owen Harris for P9. All the clear for now at the front. Warrior Haggerty still in the top 3 spot with Matthew Dunn fourth at 3.9 seconds. So for now we have to follow the midfield, middle of the pack. But the water losing some time from Owen Harris, who managed to get past the level. So Owen Harris has moved up into 8th place. Great start from him. Wow. While Steve managed to retake Matthew Hunt. And now he's really close to Kruger, which I assume will be his teammate, considering they're racing with the same, almost same Aston Martin livery. It's the battle for of the advantages now. Steve, who, remember, came second in race 1 after a contact with Fuchs, which was started on pole. And now Steve has to make a comeback and try to do it so from 40 now. Meanwhile, they're all so close together. Zverev getting past Chris Gaiman and now trying to insert up the inside of Van der Waal, who moves out of the way almost like he's a left car. So Zverev takes off P11. I look behind Steve, maybe, and here is Kruger. Moves up. Kruger leaves Steve get by. So Steve happy to P13. It was clear that Kruger did not want to fight with him. While Lemon now is holding Zverev and Gaiman. And Haggerty has lost a couple of places. It's been a mistake. Haggerty now down to P7. Meanwhile, Lemon and Zverev with the feint, the switcheroo by Daniel Ricciardo style, but it goes wide, long into the braking spot, and Lemon managed to get past again. Great battle for 9th place. With Lemon and Zverev giving everything they can. Let's see Zverev move again the last minute. Not now. While Van der Waal managed to get. Oh, and Lemon make a mistake, and now he lost place with Zverev, and now even Steve he passed Lemon. Now Van der Waal goes wide and allows Kruger and also Kukumalakis to get past. It is Kukumalakis get past the Dutch driver. And it's really now the strategy game, waiting for the moment it will stop raining. We have 28 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. An incredible action for now. Oh, Kukumalakis almost tapping the rear bump of Kukumalakis. While trying to move Kruger, while Kruger tries to make himself very visible on the outside, but they're still fighting. And Kruger stays ahead of the Greek driver. Kukumalakis still in P14. But Kruger tries again past on Lemon. There's contact between the two vantages. Maybe Kukumalakis can make a chance, and he uses the chance to make a double overtake on the Aston Martin vantages, who will now blame each other for the contact. And even Van der Waal manages to get past Kruger. The Waal goes wide again. I don't know if Van der Waal goes really wide because he has the slick tires, even if it doesn't make any sense, or if he's just really struggling with the braking balance of the car. In 5 minutes will stop raining. That's your message. That's the message everyone should listen. Now here we are with again Chris Gelman and Dreadlock Steve, P10 and P11, Chris trying to recover the gap on Juref Veref, while he's trying to recover on Owen Harris, who is P8 at the moment. They can break his point turn fourth. Still waiting for what will be the decisive moment of the race, where we stop raining and the drivers will have to make a decision. We're waiting there that this looks like a filler, and while it's not, it's really not. Oh, and another car lost it. Don't know who it was. It was Haggerty. Haggerty, the McLaren, has lost it. And now he's trying to get back into the track, but he has to wait until the cars pass. He cannot do a safe rejoin. All correct from Haggerty. Haggerty, sorry. But such a shame because he's fallen down to P17. He went, oh! What happened in turn 2? And that's Veref who slammed into the barriers. Bam! After contact, I think he was with I don't know which one was the contact, for Copes or Harris, I don't know. But the result is that Veref has slammed himself very hard into the barriers. That's real bad from the Ferrari driver. That looks like some severe damage by his part. And no, he has severe problems. Right now, Harris and Steve fighting for P8. Harris trying to take the racing line as advantage as he Steve tried to take the outside. Oh, contact! Harris was wide. He almost lost it. No, he lost it. Onto the grass. Of course, Steve will say, he just slammed into me. I was on my line, but that's the line you usually take when you have to go into the pit stop. So can stop in Verev. No, I'm sorry for Verev. I don't think he can continue in this condition. He's forced to make a pit stop as he enters the pit lane. Such a shame for Verev. Such a shame. And it stopped raining now. Track is still wet. We see how much until the track clears out. And we can see some slick in action. But 22 minutes and 47 seconds. Still a long way to go in this race. It is a Harvey reverse grade race. Meanwhile, Ashley Gunning back at it with his Bentley. Has managed to lap Kruger like it was a lap car. He takes P11. Now Gunning is 7.4 seconds behind Kukumilakis. So he is a man on a mission. Period. By the car in the lead for now. It's only Naked Warrior. So waiting for the moment that the car clears out and forms a dry racing line. Let's jump on board with Naked Warrior to see how the conditions are for the drivers. Meanwhile, the Discord chat, Vergef is searched for Owen Harris, so I think it was Owen Harris who made contact with Vergef, sending him into the tire walls of turn 2. Because he doesn't know, I think he says what happened. So it would be some clarification between the two, of course. I think as well it might be an unfortunate accident because at the speed turn 2, even a small movement, even not voluntary, can result in a big consequences. And unfortunately, very paid the price. Unlucky from him. As now back into the track. 2 laps down, or 3 laps down now. So it's here just to finish a race. Oh, what happened? Matthew Dunn! Matthew Dunn has crashed! And he's gone out! I think he's gone out. I don't see I think he will exit. So Matthew Down out of race 2. After a mistake that sent him into the guardrail. In the exit of turn 10. And we lose the car that was third place. But Jack Barnett, look at this, now moved up into third place in the Ford Mustang. Astonishing. But such a shame for Matthew Down. This virtual weekend of Red Bull Ring did not bring any luck for him. And a stop and go penalty for car number 405. It is else. That goes from bad to worse for him. While now we're having some interesting evolution because I think the sun is starting to come out fairly a little bit. I don't know, but the track is still remaining wet. It does not, it's not improving really much. Let's see if now the sun, even if they don't, can manage to speed up the drying process. While our images bring Steve, Gemman and Sturrock all fighting for 6th place for now. Kukumelakis in P9 for now, but Ashley Garnick is right behind him. It's impressive the pace that the Bentley has on this track. Of course, Stop and Go the cars with more powerful competitive engine will be favorited, but here Garnick also in the wet and proved that the Bentley, even if old, even if heavy, can win races, can be really competitive. And that's really nice to see, really. As Garnick now tries to get closer each corner. Luko Kumelakis, while Sturrock maybe deciding that it's the time to send an attack to Chris Gemmer as the track is beginning to dry up. But and Steve lost it! Bang! Into the guardrail! Another mistake, Steve lost his 6th place at advantage of Genman. Even is stuck now. We see his opportunity. Let's see, turn 3. For now, he stays behind. But look at the switcheroo. Trying to make a better job of the exit, but Genman is having none of it for now. And look at it. Turn 4, trying again. While Ashley Garnick has already reached Kukumelakis. So let's jump on board on the Bentley of the Australian driver. So really doing an awesome comeback for now. Let's jump on board with him. Gunning on this side of Kokomelakis, turn one. And that might be... Is that it? Yes, he's done it. Gunning up into 8th place. Gustav Asche, while Sturrock decided to break the waters with Gedman, tries to the outside turn 2. Gedman breaks late, maybe too late. No, he makes the corner and defends successfully from Sturrock, but he does not give up yet. He tries again in turn 4 on the inside. Now the Mercedes driver, but Chris Gedman defends really well, closing the doors. And again, he defends also the racing line. Great battle between Sturrock and Gedman. And again, now trying to cool his tires, to not overheat them too much, because now we might come to a steady point. We can have slick tires as Sturrock comes into the pits. I was saying, we might get closer to the point where we can see drivers coming to the pits for slick tires, but the question is it worth it? Because we'll lose 30 seconds for changing tires. Then, can you recover it? Or will be all good for nothing? Well, look at Gunning overtaking Gedman like he's a GT2 car. And so, Asche Gunning moving into 6th place. Outstanding racing so far, but the Australian on the Bentley. Now even if he's 50 seconds behind Coppens, he can be proud of what he achieved tonight with a third victory and for now a top 6 spot. But Sturrock, of course, is changing tires. We'll see where will this bring Sturrock as he exits the pit lane. Oh! I think he almost lost it, but he makes it back in one pace. He rejoins P17 behind Hunt, ahead of Davis. You can see Davis here behind the Ford of Jack Barnett, who's been overtaken by Alexander Fuchs. So Fuchs takes 3rd place and is getting real close to Weiss in the McLaren. Probably with the full mass taking advantage of the wet condition, now seems to be over. While Fuchs is again in a zone of his own. And Fuchs is improving, it's going a lot quicker seemingly than Weiss, as we're below 10 minutes at the end of race 2 here at the Red Bull Ring. Oh, and Weiss has no, it was not Weiss, sorry. It was another McLaren. Fuchs is 8.3 seconds behind Weiss, so never mind, gentlemen. Sorry. Let's see if we have some battles incoming from behind. Yeah, I don't think, honestly, because all of them seem to be separated from the other, so not really doing any favors for now. Just back to Veref, who now P22 after the massive crash he had in turn 2. Well, Steve has come into the pits. Steve into the pits. Same strategy as Sturrock did. But it's only 8 minutes left. The track is still humid. Don't think that's worth it at all. Meanwhile, Kokumonakis back again at Gedman. We try to pressure him for 7th place. The Greek driver really being the better one. The racing line, the stability in holding the car trajectory. And now Kokumenakis, let's see. Moves up into the outside of Gedman, but Gedman holds the line. Great defense by a Porsche driver. There's a 7th place up for spots here. It's also points important for the championship. Reminder that Chris Gedman finished P30 and P7 in round 1, so he wants to replicate the 7th spot of 1 week ago at Kota. Right now, Jack Bannon made a mistake. No, Alexander Fuchs made a mistake. Jack Barnett is back into 3rd place. We were watching like it was Alexander ahead of the 1-2 seconds of the 4th driver, but he made a mistake. So now Jack Barnett back into the podium spot. He's the only 2 for them now, as Michael Koppes in the Ferrari is just too far away, 8.5 seconds of gap. And of course for Fuchs, it will be really, really hard. Look, Fuchs trying again on Jack Barnett. This could be a fantastic duel for the podium spot as we approach the final 5 minutes of this race and this evening's action for Super Sprint Saturday at Red Bull Ring. The track is still some sort of wet. Certainly not dry. Oh, Barnett going over the curb. So Alexander Fuchs might have a chance. He takes already the inside line. This might present him a chance at the braking spot of turn 3, but wow, Jack Barnett goes really long, almost too long. It is certainly too long, so Alexander Fuchs moves up, takes back a 3rd place. Great duel, great stuff here. Let's see, Barnett will make the counter back, not for now. He stays 4th. Meanwhile, the other Ford of Davis is fighting with some back markers. still in P17. Let's see for some other battles if we have, but I think we're very well on the way for the final laps, the laps that will be of holding. Jack Barrett is now struggling to keep up the pace with Alexander Fuchs. So there might have been it, unless Fuchs can will do a mistake and do something about it. So Gelman has made a mistake, and so Kruger and Gunning moves up another spot. Kruger P7 and Ashley Gunning in P8. And Kruger made a mistake. Kruger made a mistake on the turn 1, and so Ashley Gunning moves up 7th place. Again, Magan takes back 8. That's disaster for Kruger in the last stretches of race 2. While we are now left with 2 laps to go. 2 minutes and 2 laps to go now. Here at the Red Bull Ring. Naked Warrior looking to be the 4th different race winner in 4 races of the Super Sprint Sunday Season 22 in the Tier 2, which from the paddock of Ferrari were always looking hyper competitive. And Eddie showed exactly as we saw in the first races with many drivers on the podium, many drivers capable of fighting for victories, 4 different victories, 4 different winners. Unless the Naked Warrior really throw it out the window. Meanwhile, Jack Barnett has recovered again on Alexander Fuchs. He's on the outside, and Fuchs holding very still, fighting very hard for the last place on the podium. Barnett with a big braking, almost too wide. Let's see if he manages to get hold of Fuchs, but no, he can't. He seems no, because Alexander Fuchs takes back 3rd place. Jack Barnett almost does a drift as he now requires to go back into the wet part of the track to cool his tires as Naked Warrior begins the final lap. It is at automatic advantage, while Fuchs and Barnett are not done yet, and they're still deciding. They wanted to give me a last great battle for 3rd place. Let's see which one will prevail. Will be the German Lamborghini or the British driver on the Ford. Look, Barnett really seeming to be a beast on the brakes compared to Alexander Fuchs. Let's see now, turn 30, there is some opportunities, but we have to move now or never. Now he moves up into the outside on Fuchs. Can he take a better exit for Fuchs to make it vulnerable? No, he can't. And Fuchs seemingly does not make any mistakes. So unless there are some evolution, no, Barnett goes over the gap. I think it's over for him. While Naked Warrior crossed the checker flag and wins race 2 at Red Bull Ring. That's marvelous from him. Great result from him and for Aston Martin. Faes takes second place for McLaren, while behind him Fuchs will hold on the Bennett to take the last place on the podium and close a really good weekend with 5th and 3rd. That's a good day in the office for him. Bennett 4th. Koppes will take 5th. Kokumelakis will take 6th. While Ashley Gannick, with a brilliant comeback from P26 on the grid, will manage to recover from P7 and walk away even with the fastest lap of the race. Great evening by the Australian on the Bentley. You can see now the final corner. Kokumenakis crossing the line P6 and Ashley Gannick crossing the line in P7. Then we'll have Chris Gedman. Oh no, he lost it just on the final lap. So we see now Owen Harris overtaking for P8, Kruger overtaking Gedman for P9. And so Chris Gedman will at least manage to hold on the top 10 spot, but what a shame, he could have been P8 for Gedman. Them on the P11 and Kelleher will be P12 ahead of Johnson, Van der Waal, Hart, Sturrock, Davis, Waste, Greaves and Steve for the P20. So final confirmation of the result, Naked Warrior becomes the 4th different race winner of the Super Sprint Sunday Tier 2 Season 22. And of course, as you can see, it's a really long season with many different winners yet to come. And this is just the beginning. Faes in second, Fuchs in third to round up the podium. The Ban, Koppes, Kokumelakis, Gannick, Harris, Kruger, Gedman, Lemon, Kelleher, Johnson, Van der Waal, Hunt, Stark, Davis, Waste, Grievous, Steve, Felix, Verev, Hels, Silva, and Benson, the last to classify, while Dan, Haggett, and Sandos, unfortunately, cannot have points because they did not finish the race. But what evening it has been a Red Bull Ring. It not has been clear at all times because there's been some chaos regarding also the weather. But I hope you enjoyed both drivers and neutrals. I hope you will all enjoy when we will return next Tuesday. We'll be this Tuesday, just 2 days. We'll be back at Red Bull Ring for round number 2, and we'll be back on YouTube with a commentary. And then next Sunday, back to another trial of the Super Sprint Sunday. And this time it will be round 3 at Valencia, where we'll be waiting, of course, for some exciting races and even hoping for some more victories along the way. For myself, it's time to wrap it up. So I'm Andrea Mattavelli. Thank you for joining everyone, and I wish you a very good evening to you all. Goodbye.